Visually amazing. The fact is, they built a lot of practical sets,
Yeah.
and that shows. Really well shot, really well like executed. The music was really good. The music was not in the
Okay.
way ever. I feel like the movie did a good job of following of the book all the way through. And so, in terms of adapting a book, they did a great job of capturing the story.
We finished painting and touch-ups yesterday, so now Sunday, we're going to buy furniture, desks. We're gonna have our little mic set up, and then we're buying soundproofing stuff. So
Wow.
getting going.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's a little something.
How
It'll
far
feel
away
more
from you is
real.
it?
It's on a big major street. It's off Wilshire.
Yeah.
So yeah, I literally can park at a place we both know, and then walk 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and there it is. So
That's
pretty
cool.
nice.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The parking in that place that we both know,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely had it in my mind. I was like, if there's an earthquake, I think we're gonna die.
Yes, 100%.
And that was really scary.
When you realize how much of the city is built on top of questionable parking structures,
Yeah.
not a place to be. Not
I for sure thought I was gonna die.
The feeling of impending danger happens as soon as you drive underground.
I don't like this. Yeah.
No, no.
Speaking of impending danger.
Oh, wow. What a transition. Let's talk about Drive in Space. This is what everyone's here for today.
Drive. You know, here's my guilty confession. I've never seen Drive.
Okay. Oh, no. So that
Is it
didn't
good?
even land. It's so good. I will say this.
Really?
It's a bit of a film bro movie. Now
Yeah.
they've kind of co-opted it as like the dude in the Mustang with the cool jacket saying few words. But I will say when it first came out especially, everyone kind of looked at it and they're like, nah, certified banger. Immediate hit. Like it's just that good. Carrie Mulligan's in it, Bryan Cranston. That's good.
Okay, I'll watch it.
But it's not snarky Ryan Gosling that I'm assuming we're getting in Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, I guess I haven't seen Drive, so but I'm assuming he's not funny in Drive.
Yep.
Yeah. Project Hail Mary from the writer, this Andy Weir wrote the book Project Hail Mary. The same guy who wrote The Martian, which is that book from a while ago about Matt Damon who got trapped on Mars and he's got to science his way out of it. Very similar sort of thing. I'm wondering, I think Andy Weir probably has a pattern, and his pattern is, how can I self-isolate a genius and make him do science to save his life?
Yeah.
And that's what we landed on with Project Hail Mary. It's directed by Chris Lord and Phil Miller. Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Thank you. Phil Lord, Chris Miller, yep.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller. The brains behind the Spider-Verse movies, as well as a couple comedies on TV, I think. And then obviously Ryan Gosling is the star, and Ryan Gosling is the best of the Ryans, and he's the funniest of the Ryans. And if you have problems with that, you can come find me in Salt Lake City and we can have a chat about it. Just kidding. Wow, that was really aggro.
Okay, so it's kind of got you in a different mood, this movie.
Yeah. Let's see. Where should we start? So, yeah, I saw the press screening. It's a really good movie. You're going to like it. If you've read the book, you're going to like it. If you haven't read the book, you're going to like it. You know, this movie is, I heard a lot of people saying that, the early reactions are like, this is going to be in the top 10 sci-fi movies of the decade. Maybe. I don't know if I'd go that far personally.
Depends on what comes out. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. So here's the deal. This is one of those where I feel like if you've read the book, I don't know if your experience of the movie is going to be improved by reading the book.
Interesting. Okay. No, I'm like halfway through the book. Sorry to our friend who may be a listener, Alex. You bought the book a long time ago. I'm just now reading it. So you're saying it may not be so necessary.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not necessary because, like, I watched The Martian. I'd never read the book The Martian. I've still never read the book The Martian. And so the book isn't going to increase your capacity to like this movie. I'd say it's pretty neutral in total because the book, I mean, this is the problem of adaptation, okay? The problem of adaptation is you leave a lot on the cutting room floor. You just leave a lot on the cutting room floor for the sake of the fact that you need to make a movie. And this is a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours. That's a long time to be sitting in a movie. And don't get me wrong, I love long movies. But even then, it still felt like we were a stone skipping on the surface of a pond rather than kind of diving deeply into some of these things.
Hmm.
And that's, if I had a critique of the movie, it's that it sometimes felt like we were trying to hit as many little things from the books without necessarily diving deeply into any one of them. And so like, if I were the one making this movie, I might have just had a little bit more leeway with the overall story to be like, this is the film adaptation of Project Hail Mary.
Okay, so I guess when it
Yeah.
comes to adaptations, there are those who will just love the book and will be frustrated by the movie. Is that how you're feeling?
I don't know if you'll be frustrated by the movie because the movie it's beautiful. It's a great movie. It's really good.
Yeah.
If what you really liked about the books was getting really deep into the science,
Mm,
you might be
not
frustrated
really
by the
for me.
movie because whereas The Martian, I feel like it did pretty good job of getting into the science of what was going on, of how
Hmm.
he was, saving himself on Mars. I feel like Project Hail Mary is more of a character study than it is a science study.
Oh,
How far deep into the book are you?
spoiler alert. We're not going to talk of spoilers, right?
Yeah.
You already saw in the trailer. I'm at the part
Yeah.
where he meets Rocky. So
Okay.
150, 160 pages.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a character study between a guy and an alien.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the movie is, and it's got some really nice moments, some cutesy stuff happening. But if you want the science, go to the book because the science goes deep. And like for me, I really enjoyed the science because there was parts of it where, they encounter a problem, whatever, they encounter a
Hmm.
problem. And then it's like, oh, well, they didn't consider relativistic physics, or they didn't consider time dilation or something like this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, no, that makes like, because I know enough physics to be a problem. But uh, and so it was fun to listen to the book and be like, oh no, I completely like that makes a lot of sense actually with all the science. Not that I'm a
Yeah.
physicist at all, but like, um, yeah. And so then when I'm watching the movie and they don't really go too deeply into, they kind of just skirt over some of this. It left me wanting a little bit more. But then I'm like, well,
Okay.
then you go to the book. You go to the book for the depth.
Book for the depth. Still beautiful, colorful,
Yeah,
fun as a movie. Now,
yeah,
can we talk a little bit about the directing without getting too into the nitty gritty? Phil
yeah,
Lord, Chris Miller famously had some issues on Solo, butting heads with multiple people, not just Kathleen Kennedy. They were ousted. Ron Howard came in, whipped back up, put out a fine Star Wars movie. Now, looking back at the time, didn't look so great as it hit 600 million or whatever it was.
hmm,
Anyways, then they did Spider Verse, and they've been on Spider Verse for a while. Then during the writer's strike, they decided to take on this project and put everything else on hold, including the next part of the Spider Verse trilogy. Do
yeah.
you feel like this was the proper use of their talents? Did it feel like Lord and Miller, or did it feel like could have been someone else?
I feel like it could have been someone else.
Yeah. Okay.
And I,
Okay.
I mean, like I love their work on. I love them. They're really great.
Yeah.
I love their work. Part of me is like, why didn't we bring back the team that did The Martian? Because The Martian was so good.
Yeah.
Like it was so good. And not that Project Hail Mary isn't so good. It tastes different. It feels different. And so if you're expecting
Hmm.
something like The Martian, like expect differently. Get rid of your expectations.
Okay. Less science. How many people were in the screening with you? Packed
Is maybe
room.
18. No, it was not a
Okay.
packed room.
What were some of the moments, or with the moments that people laughed at or really got into
Yeah.
that you heard? Was it what you expected from the book or otherwise, or did it kind of feel a little out of place, like just a joke book moment?
No, everything felt good. Ryan Gosling is really good at what he
Yeah.
does. This is one where, like, in order to carry a movie by yourself, you can't be a bad actor.
Hmm.
This is not, I mean, clearly there are scenes set on Earth before he goes up into space. And so you do get to see him interact with people. But for the most part, this is just Ryan Gosling on a spaceship
Yeah.
and then having to act against a CG alien, which they did a lot of practical. So it's not all CG all the time.
Hmm.
So they did a lot of practical, but you know, Ryan Gosling's really good.
Yeah.
He's really good at what he does. And so you just believe him as a character. You just believe him as a character. And he does a really good job. With Ryan Gosling, sometimes I'm like, are we typecasting you? Is this just the character that you play now? What's your range? Because I feel
Yeah.
like Ken and Fall Guy and Project Hail Mary Guy, they're all variations on a theme. I'm like, what's he gonna do next? Look,
Has
I
his
feel like I'm
agent?
not hyping this. I feel like I'm not hyping this movie up very well.
Okay. So we've gotten through some of the questions,
Yeah,
pitfalls, and otherwise.
yeah,
Tell us about, without spoiling, the best few things, visually, tone wise,
yeah.
and maybe like the big crescendo. How does it land?
Visually amazing. You know, there's a lot of headlines right now talking about how they didn't use green screens. They probably used some amount of green screening. So there's some marketing lingo in that. But the fact is, they built a lot of practical sets,
Yeah.
and that shows. You know, you don't have that weird feeling, you know, that Stranger Things feeling where it's like, oh, I can see this the size of their VFX studio based
Yeah.
on where their characters are positioned. So really well shot, really well like executed. The scenes in space are beautiful. You know,
Hmm.
there's part of the marketing is where they're in orbit around this extrasolar planet, and it's green and it's beautiful and it's really like it's really well done. I feel like the CG and the effects that we did see are none of them were like, ooh, that wow, that should have. I wish that they
Yeah.
had a couple more weeks on that effect. The music was really good. The music was not in the
Okay.
way ever. You know, probably the music didn't insist on itself. You know, this is my critique of Hollywood in general right now is that no soundtrack ever insists on itself. And sometimes I wish that a soundtrack would insist on itself.
Yeah.
You know, so we could get back to the glory days of like the 90s and the 2000s where like every character had a theme and a medley and all that kind of stuff. And now it's just kind of like we just have background music playing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I feel like the movie did a good job of following the beats of the book and all the way through. And so in terms of adapting a book, they did a great job of capturing the story. Which is to say that if you liked the book, you're going to like the movie.
Yeah, the screenwriter who adapted it was the same one who adapted The Martian.
Yeah.
Also adapted World War Z, The Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
He did some episodes of Lost, Buffy. He did Cloverfield. More recently, he's done a bunch of episodes in the Daredevil series from Marvel,
Mhm.
Bad Times at the El Royale, High
Oh.
Potential. So he's done some stuff. His name is Drew Goddard from
Oh
Los
yeah, I love Drew
Alamos, and
Goddard.
he's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be well written. It's going to be well directed. Like you said, the
Yeah.
VFX look great. I'm loving how much color is in it, even for being in space.
Mhm.
I'm like, that looks great. Ryan Gosling's great.
Yeah.
Is
I'll say
there? Okay.
Ryan Gosling's version of Ryland Grace is funnier than the book version of Ryland Grace.
Yeah, our friend was specifically saying he's too good looking, and he think he might be too charming compared to the book guy. Book guy seemed like a little goofy teacher loser at some points.
I
Maybe
guess
not
I would
loser.
agree. I would agree. I mean, he is. He's like, you know, his insistence on not swearing in the book is just kind of like,
Hmm.
okay, guy, what are we doing? And
Yeah.
sometimes I like he's a little cringe sometimes in the book. And Ryan Gosling is charming, attractive. I'm like, what are you doing with a PhD teaching like middle school physics? You
Yeah.
know, some of that just but that, I mean that goes back to the scripting and even the book of just like, so why was he teaching middle school
Yeah.
again? And why was he not like you know, anyways, so
I
it's
mean, I
like
noticed in
why
the
is
book
someone so hyper competent teaching middle school?
the number of times in the book in which other people walk up to him while he's training with the International Coalition or whatever else, and people are like, "You're Dr. Grace. You wrote that paper. Oh my gosh, the whole stage knows about it." Blah blah. It was like someone that renowned is in middle school. Okay,
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah.
but okay.
Yeah, fun. I don't know, maybe that's a regular occurrence out in the real world of, you know, physics PhDs that they just like they do one stupid thing and then they're like banned to teach high school physics for the rest of their life.
It really seems like Project Hail Mary and AP Bio. That seems to be our two
Yeah,
options
share
there.
some DNA.
Is this a movie that everyone needs to go see in IMAX, rush to get those seats, or is it still fine on a regular screen?
It's going to be fine on a regular screen. The aspect ratio does shift throughout the movie. What
Oh,
any
fun.
scene that they have on Earth is going to be in a standard letterbox film ratio, and then any scene that they're in space jumps to the IMAX ratio. So that's a fun bit of immersion. So if you are going
Yeah.
to go see this, go see it in the IMAX. You know, go
Hmm.
brave the crowds on a $5 Tuesday and go see this in an IMAX theater if you can. My one is that the screen that I saw it on was not a genuine IMAX. It was a Limax screen. And so there was a lot left on the table. I know.
Oh, sad. Okay. All right. Go see it in IMAX. Yeah. Tell me about just the ending and when you walked out, how much did you think about this movie before it went back off the brain and you were on to the next thing?
I mean, I chewed on it for a little bit because I was with my girlfriend and we
Mhm.
were chatting about it because she hadn't read the book. And so, but I was like, I was, I was, I was doing the thing that is awful to do, which is just like, yeah. So in the book, this happened, and in the book, this happened, and in the book, they went a
Oh,
lot deeper
no.
on this, and I just couldn't stop myself from talking. And it's one
Yep.
of those things where you're outside yourself, looking at yourself, and you're like, Madison, shut up, quit talking about this. And so I was certainly chewing on it, but not in a like, oh, I wish the movie had done this, but more of like, oh, well, when they said this in the movie, like this is the
Mhm.
thing that like was underneath it that like was explored a little bit more in the book, or like when this thing happened, like this is the kind of the physics that they didn't really dive into about like why this was happening.
Gotcha.
And so that's the kind of stuff that I was chewing on. But then I had to move a table and some chairs in the rain and put it all in my car. So, I didn't last that long.
Yeah. Like you said, the book's going to be deeper on the science than the rest of it. It was still
Yeah.
a fun time.
Oh, absolutely.
Go see it. It's out now this weekend. We're, of course, recording a little early, but any last thoughts? Perfect movie snack.
I don't know. He eats a lot of like Twizzlers in this
Oh,
and
okay.
Skittles. Like you can, sorry guys, I think the brand integration, we got to go back to like sneaky brand integration, not like in your
Yeah,
face brand integration. I'm just like, let's be
it's
a
too
little
much.
bit more sly about it. Yeah. So cause he's got this character, is almost like Brad Pitt in any of Brad Pitt's movies where he's just eating all the time.
Hmm.
And so like Ryland Grace is just always eating like some Twizzlers or Skittles or something. And I don't remember that from the book at all. And so that's clearly an integration, a product integration. But I was certainly sitting there thinking, man, I wish I had some Twizzlers right now.
So it was working on you just a little
So it
bit.
was working on me, unfortunately.
Ah,
Even
sad.
I am not
All
immune
right.
to product integration.
Well, grab your Twizzlers, grab your Skittles. Go see this movie, hopefully in IMAX if you don't already have your tickets bought. And let us know in the comments, whether on Spotify or on Instagram, what you thought of the movie. Until next time, watch good TV and movies.